A warning before we begin. This episode contains disturbing details, including violence involving a child. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Quadeville, Ontario. A quiet rural village, barely 200 people strong. The kind of place where neighbors leave their doors unlocked and kids roam freely between yards. But on June 23, 2025, that quiet was shattered. A violent attack. A young girl critically injured. A town in shock. I'm Mark, and this is Northern Dark, true Canadian crime. In this episode, Quadeville, Summer of Fear. Tucked into the hills of Renfrew County, Quadeville is the kind of place that time forgot. Gravel roads, Canada Day BBQs, winter carnivals with bingo and pancake breakfasts. Everyone knows everyone. But on one summer morning, everything changed. On the evening of June 23, 2025, a call came into 911 just after 9 p.m. A young girl was missing in Quadeville. Police launched a ground search with tracking dogs. She was found shortly after midnight in a nearby field, severely injured. She was airlifted to Killaloe in Ottawa in critical condition. Her injuries were life-threatening. Police later called her survival a miracle. This wasn't just an incident. It shattered a deeply connected community. More than 100 residents, over half the town, packed into the local community center for a town hall just days later. Many were upset about the police response. One frustrated relative said, "I could have done my own investigation." Another described the entire town as heartbroken and numb. It was a traumatic moment. OPP Superintendent Derek Needham said, "This is a very traumatic time for this community because everyone knows everyone involved." When the investigation began, police publicly warned of a possible animal attack. That conclusion was based on initial medical and pathology assessments. As a precaution, the Ministry of Natural Resources set animal traps. Families were told to keep children indoors. But soon after, DNA results came back. There was no animal DNA. The focus shifted. OPP spokesperson Bill Dixon said, "We couldn't undersell it. If it was an animal and another child was attacked, that would be horrible." Then came the arrest. A 17-year-old male, whose name is protected under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, was charged with attempted murder and sexual assault with a weapon. He remains in custody. He appeared in court via video on July 14th. As of this episode, no bail decision has been confirmed. Police also appealed for help identifying a man in his 60s seen riding a gray or black Ducati or Suzuki-style motorcycle near the scene. The victim was just 8 years old. She was found by police in a field just after midnight, several hours after a 911 call was placed. Her condition was critical. Emergency responders acted quickly, and she was flown to Killaloe in Ottawa for urgent care. Her injuries were described by police as severe. One officer later said it was one of the hardest calls of their career. Investigators and community members alike were deeply shaken. OPP Superintendent Derek Needham called her survival a miracle. At the town hall, a local pastor shared that the entire community had been traumatized by what happened. And one resident told reporters, "People were heartbroken and numb. We're never going to forget this." The girl remains in hospital as her recovery continues. In the days following the attack, the people of Quadeville rallied together with urgency and compassion. Church leaders and OPP victim services quickly stepped in to provide trauma support and grief counseling. A GoFundMe campaign was launched to assist the girl's family with medical and recovery costs. So far, it has raised over $40,000 with a goal of $50,000. But support didn't stop online. Local residents organized bottle drives, community bake sales, and placed donation jars in shops and gas stations throughout the area. One community member told CBC, "This town is traumatized. It's going to take time and unity to heal." Another resident added, "People are never going to forget it. Probably every day of our life, it'll be in our minds." As news spread beyond Quadeville, support began pouring in from across Renfrew County and the province. For a town of 200 people, the response was overwhelming, a testament to how deeply this tragedy resonated. As this case continues to unfold, more details have emerged about the accused, according to a Toronto Sun article. Neighbors who lived near his family described him as quiet and awkward. Some said they often saw him walking alone and that he didn't speak much. Others expressed shock that someone from the area, someone they recognized, could be charged with such serious crimes. For many in Quadeville, this case has forced a reckoning. In a town where everyone knows everyone, the idea that this could happen so close to home has shattered assumptions about safety. As one resident said, "Things like this don't happen here until they do." The investigation is ongoing. Police are urging anyone with information to come forward. For now, Quadeville remains in mourning, but it is also a town determined to heal, one step at a time. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mark, and with me is my co-host Leah.
Hey everyone, that was a tough one.
It really was. This case has rocked Quadeville, and you can feel it in the way the community has responded.
Yeah, and for a town of just 200 people, over 100 showing up to a town hall, that says a lot about how shaken everyone is.
Some of the frustration was aimed at the police, especially about how the initial theory pointed to an animal attack.
Right? And that came from early medical and pathology assessments, according to the OPP. They even set animal traps around the area.
But then the DNA results came back. There was no animal involved, and that changed everything.
And I think that's where the real shock set in. In the Globe and Mail, one resident said people were stunned to learn a human, not an animal, may have caused those injuries.
Police later confirmed the suspect was a 17-year-old boy. He's now charged with attempted murder and sexual assault with a weapon. He can't be named under the Young Offenders Act.
What struck me was that neighbors described him as quiet and awkward. Nothing about him stood out before this, just a kid who mostly kept to himself.
And now, the town is left trying to reconcile what happened. The OPP said many of their officers are parents themselves, and that this call was one of the hardest they've handled.
And then there's the survivor, an 8-year-old girl. Police called her survival a miracle. She's still recovering in hospital, and we can't imagine what her family is going through.
But the community is doing what it can. The GoFundMe campaign has raised over $40,000. The goal is $50,000. And the support has come not just from Quadeville, but all across Ontario. Actually, we have added the GoFundMe page in our show notes if you would like to help the family.
They've also held bottle drives, bake sales, and placed donation jars at local businesses. It's been a full community effort.
That unity is powerful. Even in heartbreak, people find ways to help.
And before we go, if this episode has been difficult to hear, or if you or someone you know needs help, there are supports available you can also find in the show notes.
We're going to keep following this case. The suspect remains in custody, and police are still asking the public to help identify a possible witness seen on a motorcycle in the area that day.
If anything new comes to light, we'll update you right here.
Follow us on X at NorthernDarkTCC. Leave a comment, suggest a case. We always appreciate hearing from you.
Next week, we head to Prince George, British Columbia, where an entire family disappeared under mysterious circumstances on August 2nd, 1989.
We'll see you then. And as always, thank you for listening to Northern Dark, True Canadian Crime. Until next time, take care of each other.